Hey,
Hey, we're on time. We were
yes,
just a second because I turned my microphone on at 5.
yes.
Well, depends what you're looking at. My phone and my watch said it was 5, and I walked up onto the stage and Jake goes, "We got 3 seconds." I was like, "Oh, we're being generous today." So let me slide this over so it's kind of in front of me. I know you guys can't even see it. But it's my handy dandy road case. Well, I don't know what I was about to call it,
I,
but
I I normally call it the rolling
I
table.
think I was about to call it a rack case, but really it's a road case.
For
And
it's for amps.
I think my amp would fit perfectly in here, but then I wouldn't have it on the stage anymore for Live at 5. What do we do? It'd be great.
Get
Things
another
like
one.
this are awesome because then your amp goes in it, and then you don't have to carry your rack case because I have the rack case that has my wireless receiver, my in-ears transmitter, the drawer that has all my batteries and strings in it. I wouldn't have to carry that. I wouldn't have to carry my amp. My amp can go in this rack case, or the amp case, and then the rack just goes on top, and I can just wheel it in the venues.
Honestly, I have thought of putting screen in there when we're not using it.
It's not a bad idea. I've kind of like lately when it comes to gigging and getting out to shows and stuff, I'm in this tough spot of a little bit of a yawn. Sorry, this tough spot. It's been a weird day. We're all tired. We're all yawning. I think it's to do with the weather. It's like 60 degrees outside, but it's all like dull and rainy, and we don't know
Mhm.
what to do with it. But I've been trying to I want to downsize, so I want to make things smaller, right?
Mhm.
I want to make my rig as small as possible, so I have more space in my car. Because I spent years drumming and gigging as a drummer, and I'm no longer am doing that now. Now I'm a guitar player and singing in a band,
Yeah, watching
and
watching you put your drums in that car.
not anymore.
Not anymore.
No more Dodge. I haven't had the Dodge Dart. Remember I used to shove
I
all the drums in the Dodge Dart?
yes, I that's what I'm talking about.
That was wild. Now I drive a GMC, a little SUV type vehicle. I got way more space, but I don't have to haul drums around anymore. It's fantastic. But as I'm looking at this equipment, I was like, all right, I need to start looking at ways of all right, instead of making things smaller, I need to make them make sense.
Mm.
So yes, my load is smaller, but I'm not thinking about it in a very smart way. So it's taking up unnecessary space, or it's making my job harder.
Mhm.
But instead, I can put my amp in this rolling case. It takes up a little bit more space in my car, but I don't have to carry the amp in and out of the venues at the end of the night or beginning of the night or out of my house. I can
Mhm.
wheel it. And we all know you want to work smarter, not harder. So
I
if I
mean,
can put my rack case on top of here and then wheel it all to my car and wheel it into the venue and wheel it back out to my car, wheel it into the house later, what am I doing? What am I wasting time with this whole carrying things everywhere? What? It's like I was built with arms. Let's talk guitars.
sure.
All right, let's get into it. So, I'm Jack.
I'm Jake.
This is Live at 5,
Yes,
by
it
the way.
is.
We kind of skipped right over that. We jumped right into, we're here. Um, it feels weird because we didn't do this last week because we had the Allen and Heath event.
Yeah.
And Todd talked to y'all about Allen and Heath mixers and why these digital consoles from Allen and Heath are so much better than some of the, well, not some of, but they are better than analog consoles from anyone else out there. And that's not a knock at one company versus another. That's just digital versus analog. That's mainly what I'm getting at. But Allen and Heath is amazing. So, biased. Sorry. I use an Allen and Heath console myself. It's pretty great. All the churches I work for and play at, we use Allen and Heath.
Yeah, first digital mixer I used outside of school was the iLive for Alan and Heath.
Mine was a Yamaha.
Yeah, my very first one was an iLive by Alan.
We did a Yamaha, and then when my band was on tour and we would play with another band, they also had the Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this, I think it was an Ethernet jack on the back.
Yeah.
And you could chain them together. So then your 24 channel mixer could patch into the next one and became a 48 channel mixer. And it was great, unless you were the sound guy that suddenly had to be in charge of 48 channels instead of 24. Not my problem. I was the drummer. And I wasn't loading my drums into a Dodge Dart. I was loading them into a trailer pulled by a 16 passenger van. Big difference.
Hey, 48 is nothing.
No, but we Now we're just getting into things that y'all don't even care about. But you know what you do care about? All these wonderful things on the wall behind me. We're going to start from here and move over.
Okay.
We're going to swap these two just because I feel like I want to. And this may or may not mean anything, but we're going to knock these bases out of the way because we got 3 used bases. And then after we talk about 3 used bases, we have 4 really nice electric guitars. And so it's kind of funny. You're just like, all right, let's move along. And right. So it's actually unplanned. Well, now that I swapped these two, we're going to go least expensive, boom. So let's get
Stay
into it.
tuned.
This is the Dean Custom Zone. You might be thinking, why is it so green? Well, green rhymes with Dean, that's why. That's probably not why it's green, but
No.
I specifically remember being 14 years old, sitting in the chair at the barber shop, so excited because I found this bass online. Island Music wasn't open yet. And so I just remember it's like, it's so cool, it's so punk rock, like I love this thing. And then I never bought it. But now we got a used one here at the shop. So this is the Dean Custom Zone. It's a basswood body, maple neck, and of course the green frets. What's going on, Kenny? It's fine. Hey, I like interacting with people. We do this live in store, so it's fun because sometimes customers come in and I get to do a little bit of interaction. It's fine. There's no character. It's just me. Kenny's like, oh, I'm trying to make you break character. It's like, no. Yeah, there's a little camera right there. Yeah.
Yes, to YouTube and Facebook.
If you're local, go see Kenny's band, tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Smoke Signals at Toots in Hollywood, Maryland, tomorrow night.
Woo.
So there you go. Gotcha. So the Dean Custom Zone, this thing is green as it gets. It's like a bag full of green jelly beans or green M&Ms.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. There's not much super anything exciting about it.
You like green, that's space for you.
If you like green, that's your thing. Coming down the road here, this is an Ibanez SR300. That is a 5-piece maple and walnut neck. What are they using for this? Is a Nyato body, which is like the Japanese mahogany. We've gone over that several times on here on the show. Active electronics. It has the EQ switch on there to help you go back and forth between the different tones. There's really not too much to that one, but it's a great entry-level bass at a nice, used, affordable price. And with it comes this awesome card. We've started using these cards in the last so many months that come with all of our used gear. If you've purchased something used with us and it does not have this qualifier card, so to speak, it's probably something that just predates us using this procedure.
Yeah.
But what's cool about these is that when we take in our used gear, we go through this list and we check off everything like the appointments, the hardware, the electronics, the playability. And then on the back, we give the serial number, any issues or non-issues that you might have seen on there, and that way you know what you got. See, I got a comment here. Let me turn around. I like the Kirk Hammett LTD. Looks great on camera. However, yes, you're on the right track. This is a Kirk Hammett. However, not the LTD. This is the big bad boy made in Japan ESP.
Right. The neck through, as they stated.
It's neck through. It's got the skull and crossbones. We'll get to that here in a second, but good eye. It looks great on camera. Looks great in person. Sounds amazing. We'll probably video in the next couple of days, and I'll get to that here shortly. This is the Talman, Ibanez Talman, the TMB 400.
Yeah.
Roasted maple neck. What I love about this is it uses what's called Tamo ash, which is like a Japanese version of like a swamp ash. It's a little lighter in tone, so it's going to clear out some muddiness that might be there. But it's a poplar body, so do with that as you will, because it's not like a solid body in ash. But if you find a guitar in solid body Tamo ash, those would be the characteristics of it. Roasted maple neck, PJ setup, stacked volume and tone knobs. These basses are fun. Active electronics. I personally own this bass in the, I think they call it like a Mocha Burst or something like that. I don't gig with it, I don't take it out, but it's a fun bass to use just for writing and recording purposes if you're just trying to lay down some basic bass tracks. And then you can send it off to your really good bass playing friends or studio musicians who can fill in the gaps and elaborate on the little lines you put in there yourself.
Yeah.
Justin, what's going on? I know what you're here for. I might get to it. We'll see. We'll move on. So this here it's from Gibson. I haven't seen too much of these online yet, so I don't think they're really hitting a lot of areas just yet. But this is the Gibson Warren Haynes signature Les Paul. Comes in a 60s cherry finish. It has that nice width of a 50s style Les Paul neck. Got some great P90s in there. Warren Haynes, the familiar solo artist, Allman Brothers Band, Government Mule. The guy rips and shreds. His inspiration behind his signature series Les Paul was he wanted it to look like his very favorite ES335. So it's kind of cool now that if you were to go see him play, he'd be swapping back and forth between this and his ES335, and they're going to look almost identical. So fun little addition there from the Gibson signature series. Moving down the line, let's jump into this one here. This is the Kirk Hammett ESP. Neck through, made in Japan. Limited edition EMG bone breaker pickups. It's a solid alder body and a 3-piece extra thin ute neck. Yep, mainly because of the headstock on these things. They got to make them in a couple pieces because it's just slightly too wide. Fantastic guitar. It was actually funny. I didn't know that this came in. Jake was like, just grab this one. And I had no idea it was here. And it's funny because all week, if you follow us throughout the week on our social media, I do these reels every morning. I come into the shop, and the very first thing I do every day is I set up a tripod, I grab a guitar, make a little video. Under a minute long. That's just the spiel of what I do. And this week, I've just been on a tear of Kirk Hammett guitars.
Yeah.
Right? I did the Epiphone V. I did the LTD KH2 with the spider on the body. And then yesterday, or was it today's video? Today, I did the Gibson Greenie. So, which is the Kirk Hammett, by way of Peter Green, the guy that was in Peter Green was in Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Then there's the guy that was in Thin Lizzy, I forget his name. And then Kirk Hammett had, so that little lineage of the guitar there. So it's just funny. I was like, oh, another Kirk Hammett guitar. So I'm pretty sure there's one more here in the store somewhere. So maybe I can do that video here soon and we'll just knock them all out.
Yeah. I was working on a listing today, and that came up.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, hey, you can do that.
Yeah, fantastic. I think I want to, one day I'd be curious to do a video on who has the most signature series guitars. And just off the top of my head, if I had to pick 2 people to guess off the very top of my head who has the most signature guitars out there, I'd say Kirk Hammett and Slash.
Would be a fun.
I feel like those would be my 2 guesses. Like iterations of guitars. Like Eric Clapton's been having guitars built for him for years, but they're all modeled after, his Strats. But I feel like Kirk Hammett and Slash probably have the most versions of guitars. I would say Joe Bonamassa, but I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen, you don't see as many come in from Joe Bonamassa, where Slash has the entire, Slash has a whole Gibson collection of signature models. Just in the last couple years alone, I think they had 10 models of guitars between acoustics and electrics. And that's Epiphone through Gibson, or that's just Gibson. So when you add the Epiphones to it, I think Slash alone in the last 5 years has probably 10 to 15 signature models. And then Kirk Hammett between LTD, Epiphone, Gibson, and ESP, which I know are all kind of the same thing. He's got a handful of stuff there. So I'd be curious. I don't want to get too much into it now because I'm getting off track and off focus, but I'd be curious because the next, someone else who I would say also has a high number of signature model guitars is this one right behind me, the George Lynch. Just like that segue, Jake?
Yes.
That wasn't planned. That just kind of happened.
Welcome to Live at 5.
Welcome to Live at 5. I make it up as I go. This is also made in Japan. Yes, I'm a sucker for guitars made in Japan. Whether it's an acoustic, whether it's an electric, I just think they have such a different voice and tone to them. They're fantastic guitars. They feel better. I just love them. One of these days, I want to go to Japan, and I'm just going to hop around between all the factories. I'm going to go hang out with Ibanez. Going to go visit Yamaha. Going to go over to Takamine. Going to go over to Alvarez. Going to see if I can get into where they make the Fenders that are over there, and they're all fantastic. You might be thinking, Alvarez? Yes, Alvarez. Yeah. Look up the Alvarez Yairi series. We've talked about them here on the show a few times. Those guitars are hand-built in this factory on some mountain somewhere in Japan. And the factory itself has only been open for maybe 50 years or so, but there's some people that have been there the whole time. And those necks on the Yairi guitars are hand carved.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic guitars. So next time you're in here, ask us. Even if it's just a classical guitar, and it's not your thing, or maybe you're a classical player, but we only have something with the phosphor bronze strings on it, you've got to check them out because the craftsmanship on those things alone is fantastic. That's my spiel on Japanese-made guitars. So let's get back into this ESP that's made in Japan. This is the George Lynch model, solid maple body, solid maple neck, Floyd Rose original trim system, Godo tuners. It has the ESP SS120 in the neck, the Seymour Duncan George Lynch The Hunter in the bridge. The Hunter gives you high output. It uses ceramic magnets, and it's a custom winding. So it usually comes out of the Seymour Duncan custom shop of pickups there, which is another great little plug, by the way. The Seymour Duncan custom shop. If there's a pickup you really like the tone of, but you want it in a different casing, so to speak, like say you really like the tone of the 8515s from PRS, but you have a guitar that's single coil, you have a guitar that uses P90s, you could hit up Seymour Duncan through their custom shop and request something that's going to become very, very close in tone to these 8515s into the shape and the size, the placement, the dropping of a P90 or a single coil, a Tele, and drop them into any guitar you want. That's pretty neat. So this right here is the last one of the show. Save the best for last. Arguably the best for last. No knock against anyone else, but this was hand-built in the state of Maryland, where we're located. The woods on this guitar were hand-selected by the shop's owner, Keith. He went up to PRS. I believe, Justin, I assume you're still chiming in, I believe he chose these woods for this guitar while he was with you at PRS while you were designing out your own private stock as well. So this is a fun little connection there. So this guitar here is an HB1, which stands for Hollow Body 1. And the only reason it's a Hollow Body 1 instead of a Hollow Body 2 is because there's not a back cap. There's no middle in between. So the HB2, Hollow Body 2, would be front and back cap, slab of wood in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
This is not that. It's a slab of wood on top, and then the back and sides being made out of its own material. Mm-hmm. It uses the 8515 low turns. Because it's a hollow body, it is nice and lightweight. It is a solid rosewood neck with matching tuner buttons. Look at that gorgeous swamp ash back there on the body. The 8515 low turns, the piezo switch, pickup selector. What's really nice here is you might be thinking, this looks amazing, because we're all thinking that. It is master grade Koa. So we go for master grade if we have the opportunity, because Koa can look really nice when you take the time to find a really nice piece.
Yeah.
Mid-grade and lower grade Koa sometimes ends up looking like mahogany. And it takes away that flair, the pizzazz, that beautiful, striking figuring that comes from Koa. So when you get into master grade Koa, you get the dark lines down the middle here, but you get things like this gorgeous blonde streak that goes up the entire length of the guitar, which is just a fantastic piece. I like that they did the veneer on top to match that blonde streak going right down the middle. It's a wonderful piece. I would call this art. Like, this is such a gorgeous guitar. Just got delivered today. Actually, all the expensive guitars we talked about today literally came in today. So it's a fantastic selection of pieces there. Minus the Kirk Hammett. That was here like 2 days ago.
I was about to say, wait a minute, hold on.
But this came in today, and we're very excited about it. Private stocks are awesome. We have a few more in the works. I think we've got a couple in the pipeline for customers, and then we've got a few that are going to be landing here in the store in the next so many months. Private stocks do take a while to build, so we get them, sparingly, but it's just because you order one and then 12 months later it might show up. Mm-hmm. There's parts of this guitar that are just hard to show off just because of the camera angle and the lights behind the camera. I'm sure we'll get away to maybe displayed in that rotating display at the front counter here soon. We need to get pictures of it so we can get it online.
Yeah.
But there's a gorgeous flame in the figuring just going back and forth on the top here. Fantastic guitar. Every time we get a private stock and I open it up, I can't help but think, oh, this might be the year I schedule an appointment and go to PRS and design my own. So it's inevitable.
Yeah.
We all know it.
Yeah.
It's very inevitable. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Hopefully that the photos should be good on that one next week.
Yeah, we'll prop it up very soon. Our photographer comes back in on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm realizing now because last week's event, we took the Stringjoy banner down.
Oh.
And I did not realize it until now, so I didn't get to hang it back up. So I want to thank Stringjoy for partnering with us and our service center, but also the live stream here tonight.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Bring your guitar in, and we'll get it restrung with some Stringjoy strings. So thank you, Stringjoy, for that. We also want to talk about a very cool initiative that we've started here in Island Music, and we'll be making more content about this, special videos, posts throughout the store and all that. We here at Island Music Company have partnered with the organization Free Guitars for Kids. What we're doing with this is real simple. Next time you're in the store, we're going to ask you if you'd like to round up your total for a donation. And when I say round up, it's literally like, you know, when you go through the drive-thru at McDonald's, they're like, hey, would you like to round up for a thing? It's like 40 cents, 25 cents, whatever the balance is between your ticket and the next dollar up, right? So if you've spent $10.52, you're going to donate 48 cents. You spent $10.37, you're going to donate 63 cents. And that just brings you up to the next dollar. That's all we're asking. What we're doing with this is all the funds that we collect from this roundup initiative, so to speak, is all going to get put into a collection, and then we're going to give it to Free Guitars for Kids. And through that, we're going to partner. We're hopefully, we can find a really deserving local charity here in our area.
Yeah.
And we're going to be using these funds from you guys in partnership with us, in partnership with Free Guitars for Kids, to start donating guitars to kids.
Yeah.
Because as musicians, we can probably remember what it was like going into a music store as a child and families not being able to afford a guitar or anything like that, or even a nicer guitar or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we're not going to be handing kids, $1,200 Taylors or $14,000 private stock guitars, but we're going to get them something that plays well, holds their tuning, something that feels good, something that you would want to pick up and you would feel encouraged to play just because it doesn't feel cheap or like garbage, like a toy, like garbage. Like it's a real guitar.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned for some more content as you get into that a little bit further. But I just wanted to put that out there for y'all. Next time you're here in the store, just, round up. We're also taking just bare bone donations. So not guitars, because that just makes it way more complicated. But say if you want to come in, you'd like to donate $10, you want to donate $20. You're feeling real generous, you want to donate $100, just say so. And we have a way to collect and receive that as well. So this is all for Free Guitar for Kids. Eventually we're going to, actually it is in the banner there. Yeah, look at me on top of things. Yes. Yeah. I was going to say we're going to add something about them to the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
It's already there. So.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't really look at that because I'm looking up talking to y'all. Actually, that looks like it says, no, it's not okay, no, we're using the Shure micro. Never mind. I thought it was advertising a Shure event. I was like, man, we haven't done that in a little over a year. But no, it's saying we're sponsored by Shure because we're using Shure microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
It's so small, I can't read it from here. All right?
Well,
No, don't make it bigger because that's all I'm going to look at. We're done. Never mind. Hey, this was live at 5. Oh, wait, I got to do the run through. We have the Dean Custom Zone neon green machine. It's the green. Yeah, if you're you Boston Red Sox fans, get this. It's the green machine. The Ibanez SR 300 in silver with their nice humbucker pickups. The TMB 300 TA. The TA stands for Tamo Ash, by the way. PJ setup, Active Electronics, roasted maple neck. The PRS private stock HB1 with the piezo, the 8515 low turn pickups, master grade Koa top, and the nice veneer with the matching to the rosewood neck tuning buttons, your piezo switch, fantastic. Oh, with the Swamp Ash back and sides. We have the George Lynch model here. Made in Japan, the SS120 from ESP, the Seymour Duncan Custom Shop, Hunter humbucker with the Floyd Rose system in the Godo tuners. We're at the ESP KH3 with the limited edition EMG Kirk Hammett Bone Crusher, right? Bone Breaker pickups. I don't know, I was having struggling with that. And then the Gibson Warren Haynes with the 60s cherry finish with the nice P90 pickups. Fantastic guitar. I believe that's all we got covering for today. No events on the docket or anything coming up soon. Just free guitars for kids. Thank you to Stringjoy. Thank you to Shure Microphones for sponsoring us.
Mhm.
We like using Shure. And unofficially, thank you to Celsius for keeping me awake so I can do the show. And that's it. We're all covered. This was Live at 5. I'm Jack.
I'm Jake.
See you next week.
See you.